Hi everyone, Liz here, thanks for stopping by. So we have a completion and a kitting down to do. And this is a little teeny tiny painting, 25 centimetres by 20 centimetres. And it's from a Diamond Painting Collector. And I do believe I bought this round about March or February in 2021. So I've had it a long time. And I thought, oh, I'll dig it out for the Queen's Jubilee. And I did do a kitting up video on it. And yeah, it's a Union Jack flag with a Churchill peace sign in the middle. So yay! I've got it completed. It was a square. It only took me, I think, 2 nights on and off just to do it. It's in a, as I say, it's a square. It isn't the best quality drills. There are a few that keep wanting to just pop up, so I keep having to roller them down. But I'm quite happy with the colours. I was a bit iffy when I was putting the colours on because I thought, oh, we've got pinks and greys and really strange blues. But now I've actually got it on here, and particularly the shading around here and here. It's quite clever actually. I do like the way it's like a shadowed hand in the background and the way it's come out and the way that you've got like a spotlight on the middle of the hand and then it just gradually shades out towards the edges. So yeah, a lot of the times with diamond paintings you do find that you look at the colours and you think, why have I got this colour? Where on earth is that going to go on a Union Jack flag? It should just be 3 colours, red, white and blue. But actually with the shading, I think that's pretty good. And it is the right way up as well. I'll put a picture in to show you which way up the flag should go. Because there is a right and a wrong way to put a Union Jack. Which I wasn't, it did take me a while to figure that one out. I think somebody told me once that I'd got one upside down. It's years ago now, so yeah, I always try and make sure I put it the right way up now. Okay, so let's get these diamonds put away. There was 30 colours, so goodness me, I've still got all the little bags here, and I think that was an extra of number 30, so let's put those into this little container. I did mean to use these first, but to be honest I forgot all about them, and as it was, didn't need them anyway. So yeah, they're just, I think 3865, are they? Yeah, they're just a 3865, so just a standardy gem. Okay, right, so we want our square boxes, and I like my square boxes because my squares are the nice neat ones that are all done beautifully and all in nice little rows and not too full, because I've not done as many squares as I have rounds. Okay, and I've got all my little dividers as well, all based on Rebecca's design, which is Add More Zest, which used to be 4Kids at 147. I always have her link down below because this is her storage system that this is all worked from and based on. The cards and the stickers have all come from Rebecca, but obviously you can make your own up as well if you wish to. And the storage box, it's actually a photo storage box, is from Hobbycraft, which could actually be Hobby Lobby in the US. I'm not really sure. They're a similar name and look like a similar kind of shop, but I'm not sure if it's the same sort of international company. Anyway, I'm waffling, so let's get on with this. So we're starting off with number 154. I've got my trusty tray, just my standard white tray. Okay, so I thought I'd just have a little bit of a chat about times that I've seen the Queen, and my mum and dad meeting the Queen, and just about the Jubilee and everything really. I know I've shown you my photographs of, oops, come on, there's always one that doesn't want to get out. Do as you're told. Yeah, I've shown the photographs of our Silver Jubilee, which was 1977. That was 25 years on the throne for the Queen, and now we're up to 70 years. Where has the time gone? It's strange because you still think, your brain still thinks you are the age that you were. You know, you can remember how you were, and yeah, it's like your brain says to you, oh, you're still only 16, you're fine. And that your body says to you, yeah, you wish. Try getting into those jeans that you used to wear. Oh dear. Yeah, I think we all have that pair of jeans in the cupboard that we think we will fit back into them one day. And no. I like my food too much and I like my sweet stuff too much. I'm a real chocoholic, unfortunately. Right, so I hope everybody's doing okay, and that life is treating you as best as possible, shall we say. I know a lot of people are going through some tough times at the moment, so big crafty hugs to everybody. And yeah, we can hug again, can't we now? Yay! Now social distancing is starting to stop that little bit. We can get a little bit closer to people. Only if you want to, of course. I've always been a hugger. I always feel like a hug cures most things. But that's just me. Okay, so the first time I saw the Queen, let me think. So she came to Hull. I think it was in 1977. I must check that because we've got a big single span suspension bridge across the Humber. Just outside Hull, and at the time it was built, it was the largest single span suspension bridge in the world, which means it's got a post at one end and a post at the other, and the single span is the bit in the middle, rather than having extra posts going across. I think it was a mile between each post. And it's, you know, we do a lot of fundraising in and around, walking across it, jumping off it, all sorts of things, you know, bungee jumping. I don't mean just jumping off it. Yeah, she came to open that as well, so I may have got a little bit muddled, but I'm sure she came in 1977, because we are quite a large city. We don't get a huge amount of press. We're not like one of the, well, we do have famous people have come from here, but say we don't get quite the press that some of the other cities like Manchester and places get. But we are still a big city. We are right up there. Where am I? 161. Concentrate on what you're doing, Liz. Otherwise, you're going to put these in the wrong ones. And yeah, so I remember I was at school and she'd gone round somewhere in the city centre, possibly opening something. There's always something going on, isn't there, where you can open it or put a plaque up or something, unveil a plaque. Ooh, these aren't coming off very well. And yeah, we knew that she was coming away from the town centre as we finished school. And I got home and my mum said, come on, let's get the bus and we'll go, because she had the Royal Yacht Britannia at that time. And that's how she'd come to Hull. She'd come through the docks and travelled, and we have like a lock that goes into the main Humber. You sort of like dock in a place and you have to go through one of those locks, you know, with the big lock gates. And my mum said, oh, we'll go to the corner of where she's going to be turning in to go to the docks, and we'll wait and we'll see her. So my mum took me up there, which was brilliant. My mum was like that, you know, just, yay, let's get the bus and let's just go, and we'll go and stand and wait for her. So we got there and we waited ages, and there was loads of people, and yeah, we got to see her and we got to wave at her. So that was brilliant. So that was the first time I saw the Queen, other than on television and things, obviously. Oh, that's not the right one, that's 320. Oh, look what you're doing, Liz. And then the same night, my dad said, well, she's going to have to go through the lock. So it takes quite a while for the water to go up and down in a lock. So let's go and see the Royal Yacht Britannia, and maybe she'll come out and wave. So my dad took us, I mean, it was a school night as well, goodness me, 11 o'clock at night, because we knew what time she was sailing. And obviously, again, it was packed. And we managed to get on the front, like bars, because they'd put all barricades and everything up to stop the crowds getting too close. And we right on the bars of the lock. So we got to see the Royal Yacht Britannia in itself, which is wonderful. It is retired now. It actually is harboured in Edinburgh, just in the rivers at Edinburgh. Sorry, I don't know the names. Many apologies. And yes, and we have actually been on the Royal Yacht Britannia as well. It's like a museum now up at Edinburgh, so last time we went to Edinburgh we did go around that. And it is how it was when the Queen had it as well, so it's worth a visit. If you ever go to Edinburgh, go and have a look at the Royal Yacht. But yes, so we were stood there for ages, and there was me, my mum, my dad, my sister. I don't remember whether my brother came or not. I can't think he would have been left at home because I wasn't that old. And my brother's not that much older than me, so I think probably my brother was with us as well. But I would just remember that my sister was stood so close behind me, she was squishing me. So, you know, there was a little bit of, hey, you're squishing me, oh, well, don't you stand so close to me, kind of thing, you know, typical sister arguments. Don't touch me, you're too close to me. Anyway. So we were stood there for ages and ages and ages. And eventually the Queen and Prince Philip did come out onto the back of the Royal Yacht and waved to everybody. And she was stood there for ages. Oh, and it was just wonderful because we were so close. And she looked so pretty. And she had a little tiara crown thing on still as well, because she must have had a posh lunch or something on the yacht. And yeah, and when you're only little, that's a memory that will stay with me for a long, long time. Well, it has stayed with me for a long, long time, since 1977. Right, 792, there we are. So, yes, so that was the second time that I saw the Queen, which was, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have cameras in those days. Don't you know, that makes me sound like I'm about 160. No, my mum and dad didn't have a huge amount of money. My dad did belong a photography club through the fire brigade because he was a fireman, I think I've said before, and did develop his own photos. But it was very expensive to do, and obviously with 3 children, I had other things to spend the money on. So, you know, we didn't get many photographs, and unfortunately we didn't get any photographs of the Queen, because it would have been a fab photograph of her stood at the back of the Royal Yacht looking out. So yeah, and at school for the Silver Jubilee, we all got a crown, well, like a medal, and it's got Head and Town Council on one side, and then it's got the Queen on the other, the 1977 25 years crown on the other. So I'll put a photograph of it in. I have still got it. It's one thing that I have kept. Yeah, and all the school children in Heddon were all given one of these. Right, what does that say? 796, that's 794, so that's not the right one, Liz. Oh, that's quite, oh no, it isn't. I was thinking that was a different colour, but it's not. So yeah, so that was 1977, and as I say, I've shown you before, we had all the parties and everything. And then my dad got quite high up in the fire brigade. He was in the fire brigade for a long time, and he did get invited to the Royal Garden party at Buckingham Palace. I mean, there's hundreds of people get invited each year. It's like a standard thing. You can nominate people to go. And my dad got nominated to go, and he did go. You don't actually sit and have a sandwich round a little table and tea with the Queen. She's in like a big tent marquee that's open at the front, and you don't really get anywhere near her. You don't get to talk to her or anything. But you are in the grounds of Buckingham Palace, and you do get sandwiches and tea and things. So yeah, my mum and dad went to that. Or, you know, I didn't go. I mean, it was just, you know, for my dad because of his work with the fire service, with the fire brigade and everything. And then we had a new fire station built in Hull, because the old fire station had been the old Hull fire station, and it was looking a bit old and tired. And rather than revamp that one, because it's in the city centre, and like most city centres, it's got a lot of traffic, so to actually get anywhere for a fire engine, you know, it's got to manoeuvre out of lots of busy traffic. So they decided to build a brand new one on the edge of the city so that it can get to people quicker, which makes sense. And it was a lovely building, and the Queen and Prince Philip came to open it. And again, my dad got invited to, well, this time it was lunch with the Queen at our Guildhall, which is like where all the tax and all that kind of stuff is done. It's like the town hall, but it's called the Guildhall. Yeah, so he was invited to the Guildhall to have lunch with the Queen. And I think there was about 80 or 100 people around a table. So, yeah, it wasn't like you were actually just sat next to Queen Elizabeth and having a chat with her, you know, and saying, oh, what do you think to the fish? Oh, well, I think it's quite nice. What do you think to it? Yeah, so, and the funny thing is, when the Queen eats, you're allowed to eat. But when the Queen's finished, everybody has to stop. So if they're a little bit slow at serving and you're halfway through your soup and the Queen has decided she doesn't want a pudding or a dessert and has finished her main meal, that's it, everything's cleared away. So you may or may not get your dinner. And as I say, you're not sat anywhere near her. I mean, you can see her. You're not allowed to take photographs or anything. But you can see you are actually at a table sort of with the Queen, but you're not near the Queen. You know, you don't really get near her. And then, of course, afterwards, she came to open the fire brigade. Right, let me just get box 2. Right, sorry, she didn't come to open the fire brigade. She came to open the fire brigade headquarters, the new headquarters. So, 902. Okay, let's get this one. And she was, obviously, they were going to put on a big display and, like, put a pretend fire and put it out and have all the firemen doing, like, a parade and everything for the Queen to see. And I got invited. Oh, it was really exciting. So I borrowed a friend's hat because, oh, if I'm going to see the Queen, I'm going to have to put a hat on. And I had my little gloves on and my little clutch bag and everything, and a dress that I probably wouldn't even get my leg into now, let alone my waist. And I'll put some photographs in. And yeah, I actually ended up in the wrong seat. I should have been sat with my parents, with my mum and dad, who were sat further along from the Queen. But because I'd arrived at a different time to my mum and dad, they put me in a seat sort of further back, which I didn't mind, and I didn't know at the time when I got there. You know, you got your invite and everything. Her Majesty the Queen invites you, and you think, ooh, lovely. And actually the photographs have come out really well because the Queen is sort of like at the front of the photograph and I'm in the background. So I've had my photograph taken with the Queen. Well, it's as close as I got, but that's what I could say. Yay! So I'll put the photographs in, but yeah, and but before that, my mum and dad actually got to shake hands with the Queen. They got introduced to the Queen, and my mum was just so nervous. She was terrified that she was going to say the wrong thing or pass out or something, because obviously, you know, and you've got to curtsy, you've got to take a hand, and you have to call her ma'am. Like ham. No, it's ma'am, like ham. That's how I always remember it. And you know, you only speak if you're spoken to. So if you ask you a question, you can speak to her, but you can't say, oh, all right, Lizzie, how are you doing? And obviously Prince Philip's coming along as well. And there was a official photographer for the fire service there. And I've got a photograph of my dad shaking hands with the Queen, which I'll put in. But it's the photograph of my mum shaking hands with the Queen, and it's the favourite photograph I've got of my mum and dad, because my dad is stood there and he just looks so proud of my mum and so proud to be there, and my mum just looks lovely in her outfit with her little hat and everything on, and the Queen shaking her hand. So again, I'll put that photograph in. So yeah, that was quite exciting. And we got to see the demonstration and everything, and got to see the Queen, and real exciting stuff. So that's the closest I've ever been to, well, I suppose when I was watching the Royal Yacht Britannia. No, when I was sat near her, I think that was the closest I've ever been to the Queen. And fortunately, it was a lovely sunny day as well, which is quite good. I mean, it was July, so, you know, the Queen came in the summer, which always helps. But we don't always get summers. It's a good job it wasn't the school holidays, because it always rains in the school holidays. Oh dear. Right, 961, where are we? And then I'm just trying to think which order the next time we saw her. I think, yeah, it will have been, because I've been to London quite a few times. I love London. And it must have been, it will have been then 1997. And that was when Princess Diana died. And died in the car crash in Paris. And sadly, the day that she died, well, the evening and then the morning that she died, was the day that we decided to go to London for a week's holiday. So, yeah, that was really sad. I was still in bed. Hubby had gone, because he couldn't get the full day off work to be able to go on holiday. He'd had to go and open the shop where he worked at that time. So he'd gone out at like 5 o'clock just to do the early morning shift. And me, lazy me, I was still in bed. I think he came back in about 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish, if I remember, and said, oh, put the telly on, Princess Diana's been killed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, you know. Joking husband that he is, didn't expect, you know, just trying to get me to put the telly on just for something silly. But no, she had actually sadly passed away, died in a car crash. So all the news readers were wearing black, and you know, it was all really sombre on the telly, really sad. And yeah, so we'd said, well, shall we go or shan't we? Will things still be open? Is it worth going? And we decided, well, we belong the National Trust, which is going around all the different old stately homes and everything. Gosh, they're a real different colour. Look at those. Very different. Okay. And yeah, so we decided, yes, we'd still go, because we were going to visit my brother at that time as well, because he was down in, well, down London way, not in London, but down London way at that time. So we said, yeah, we'd still go. And so we went, well, we drove down to London, which it's about a 4-hour drive. I know if you live in America or somewhere that a 4-hour drive is nothing to you, but it's quite big to us, because our roads aren't very big and it can take forever to get to places. It's not that far in mileage, but it takes a long time to get places because of the roads. And it was sombre, like funeral music for the whole of the day, and every radio station was playing it. So it was a very long drive, because usually you listen to the radio and have a bit of a sing and, you know, do the quizzes or whatever that are on. So yeah, that was quite a long drive down. And we had our few days holiday, and then the day before the funeral, we decided to actually go into central London and go and see what was happening, and go and see all the flowers, because people were just leaving tons and tons of flowers outside Buckingham Palace. Which is obviously where the Queen's headquarters is, and then outside Kensington Palace, which is across the other part of London, where Princess Diana lived. So we actually went and we just walked, we got off the tube and we walked to Buckingham Palace, and then we walked to Kensington as well, because the tubes were just so full. And to be honest, a lot of places in central London, you think when you see them on the television that they're really far apart and take forever, but actually it takes longer to walk down into the tube, get the tube train, and then get out wherever you're going than it does to just walk there. So we tend to, whenever we've been to London, we tend to just walk places, it's quicker. And yeah, we went to Kensington Palace and saw all the flowers there, and it was just amazing. But while we were actually stood outside Buckingham Palace, we heard a rumour that the Queen was coming from Balmoral back to Buckingham Palace. There was a bit of a hoo-ha went on about the Queen. You can always Google it. When Diana died, that she didn't come back to London. And there was quite a hoo-ha as well that she wasn't flying the Royal Standard, the flag above Buckingham Palace at half-mast, which you fly flags at half-mast when something terrible's happened. But the Royal Standard only is flown on Buckingham Palace when the Queen is in residence. So if you ever come to London and you want to know if the Queen's there, just look to see whether the flag's flying. If it is, she's there. If it's not, then she's not. And they are very sticklers, very much sticklers for protocol. So, you know, they weren't going to fly a flag at half-mast, because the Queen wasn't there. So at one bit while we were stood in the crowd, somebody did actually go and put the flag up. And I bet they got into a lot of trouble for it and fly it at half-mast for about 5 minutes before somebody came and moved it. So there was a real big cheer in the crowd that the flag had gone up. And then there was another great big boo because the flag was taken down. And is that 8-9? Yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm not reading my numbers properly. It is definitely going quite dark in here at the moment. I think we're in for quite a storm. And so, yeah, and we were actually stood there as the Queen arrived back in London in her car. I have got a really bad photograph because we were stood quite a way off and I have got somebody's head in the way. But you can see it's the royal car. I don't think you can really see that it's the Queen in the car, but it was. And it was really strange because usually wherever you go, wherever the Queen goes, there's cheering and flag waving and all that kind of stuff. And it was just deathly silent. Nobody cheered. Nobody booed either. Nobody, you know, nobody's that disrespectful to boo the Queen. Well, not there anyway, not that we heard. And yes, it was really, really eerie. And rather than going straight through the palace gates and into the palace, she did actually stop and get out of the car. And as she got out of the car, everybody started clapping. And not a slow clap, not a nasty clap, but clapping because she'd actually got out and was going to look at the flowers that had all been left for Diana all around the palace walls. And it just made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It was just so surreal, just something that you'll probably never, ever experience again. And very, very, what can I say, pleased that we were there. Not pleased that we were there because Diana had died and that's horrendous. But it's just one of those experiences that, as I say, it'll never happen again. And, well, I suppose we were lucky to be there. 3, 7, 4, 5. Oh, I'm looking for 4, 8. 4, 3, 4. What am I looking for? 4, 6 I'm looking for. It's not 4, 5, it's 4, 6. So, yeah, in a way, I will say we were lucky. Fortunate, maybe. In the right place at the right time. It's funny to say lucky, really, because it wasn't lucky. But, yeah, to experience, as I say, a once-in-a-lifetime thing, to see and hear and see the Queen and see her go and look at all the flowers that had been left and read some of the messages and things. And she did talk to a few people as well. But it must have been really odd for her not to have anybody cheering. You know, it was a different day, a different thing to happen. So, yeah. And then we actually, rather than staying in London for the funeral, because we knew it was going to be packed and we knew that the funeral cortege was going to be going down the motorway, we decided to drive home through the night. And actually, 3747, I'm trying to put these away as well I'm talking. Doing 2 things at once, Liz. Oh, and you can't even see what I'm doing, look. And yeah, so we drove home during the night and then we watched the funeral on television sort of the next day or that day. It was the early hours of the morning of the funeral that we arrived home. And yeah, so I think that's the only times I've seen the Queen. I don't think she's been since. That was 1997. Did she come? I know Prince Charles has been a few times. And Princess Anne, strangely enough, somebody that I knew when I lived in another village in South Humberside. She was actually friends with Princess Anne, and Princess Anne used to come and stay with her. I never actually got to see or meet Princess Anne, but this friend of mine was actually a lady, and she was lovely. She was just so down to earth and so balmy. I remember saying to her, "You've not lost a dog, have you?" Sorry, I remember her saying to me, "You've not lost a dog, have you?" And I said, "Oh, no, I've not lost a dog." She said, "Well, somebody's thrown a dog into our back garden, and they don't know who it belongs to. And I'm a little bit worried. I've put a card in the newsagents to say, lost dog found." She said, "Well, we didn't really find it. Somebody put it over the wall. And obviously it couldn't get out because it's a 6-foot wall." So she ended up with a dog because somebody had just thrown it over the wall and nobody claimed it. But yeah, she was a lady, and obviously her husband was a lord as well, you know. It was quite fun. But she was really down to earth, really good fun, really funny girl. And her children, you know, she had like the house that she lived in. It was a bit like a stately home. Most of the rooms that, you know, if you ever went to visit, you sat in. But if you then went into where they actually lived and had their daily meals and stuff, it was just literally like a television in front, you know, meals on the settee in front of the television, you know, just like anybody else, just like a living room with a settee and loads of clutter and toys and everything. But yeah, so yeah, that's my stories of the royal family. So we had the Golden Jubilee. I can't remember what we did for that. I remember seeing the concert, that was the 50-year Jubilee. There was a concert on the television. I think it was for that. Was there one for 60 years as well? I can't remember. The years tend to, as you get older, I think the years tend to blend into one, and I can't remember. But I've not seen the Queen since. I've been to Balmoral in Scotland. We've visited there a few times. I've never actually been round Buckingham Palace. We've been to the Tower of London a few times. Again, never been in and actually been in it to see the crown jewels or anything, but you can go and visit. So, oops, sorry, the flash has now come on. I've just had a parcel delivered, so just had to disappear and come back again. So yeah, have you ever seen the Queen or met the Queen? When was that? I suppose I've been quite fortunate. I've seen her a few times. I mean, we're a long way from London. I guess the people that live nearer to where she lives, where her different houses are. There's one in Sandringham, which is in Norfolk, which is sort of further down the coast from where we live. Well, quite a bit further. We've been there as well. So yeah, there's a few different. 3865. Now then, what have I got in squares? Oh yes, I've still got some room in squares. Yeah, so I think we've been quite fortunate. And let me know if you've met the Queen or seen the Queen. So I hope you've enjoyed my waffle about seeing the Queen, sitting near the Queen, being near the Queen. And the photographs and things that I've sort of added in. Some of them aren't brilliant because some of them, particularly the ones of London Diana, were before digital cameras. Well, before I got one. I got my first digital camera in 1999. And obviously in 1997 it was just the click and point cameras. And if the photograph came out, it did, and if it didn't, it didn't. And you had to wait like 7 days to get your photographs back to see whether it had worked or not. Kids today don't know the board. Sounding like my mother again. Okay, pop those away. So they are all kitted down. I'll take those out of there and have to decide what I'm going to do with all those little bags. And then this is ready to put something else up. Oops, just get that out of there. Okay, I must give those a clean with my Goo Gone because they are getting very grubby and it's making it difficult to take my stickers off my tubs. Put Put all my stickers off my desk into the bin. Tend to find they're easier to take off if they're all in a little pile. Okay, well, as I say, I hope you've stayed with me to the end to see me finish putting all these away. And if you've enjoyed the little chat, then a thumbs up is always much appreciated. And if you want to subscribe, I would be really, really grateful, because I'm getting up to a bit higher numbers now, higher than I ever expected. So thank you so much. It really is appreciated. So if you press that subscribe button in this corner, and then a little all notifications bell pops up, you then get a notification when any of my videos come up, so you won't miss anything. Okay, well, thanks ever so much for stopping by, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Bye for now.